Happy Thursday, everybody. I have another video for you today to help you out with the Aleks assignment. Your assignment was Lesson 1 and 3 for Chapter 9. Lesson 1 talks about the scatter plots, and I know I didn't make a video for that one. If you had any questions with that, please email me. The reason I didn't is because scatter plots, essentially all you have to do is graph the data, so I didn't want to make a whole video just about graphing. But if you do need help, please let me know, and I will try to get to you. Lesson 3 talks about the two-way tables and the frequency tables. And so we're going to do about 3 questions here to kind of help guide you on these questions. Questions 1 and 2 were just graphing the data. You're just graphing the scatter plots. So I'm going to do question 3, 9, and 10. So with question 3, we have to we're given these scatter plots, and we have to answer the questions based on what we notice about these scatter plots. So shown below are scatter plots for 4 data sets. So question A says, which data set appears to show a nonlinear relationship between its 2 variables? So we have to look at this data and say, okay, which ones don't give us a straight line? Well, figure 1 and figure 2 very much look like straight lines to me. So I know those aren't my answer here because they show kind of a linear relationship. So I'm left with 3 and 4. Now the key to answer this question is it has to be a relationship. And it's specifically looking at non-linear. So something that has a curve to it or something that's jagged in a sense. So if I look at figure 3, it does have a relationship. It follows this curve. Whereas figure 4, it's just kind of random. These points are just kind of scattered everywhere. It's random, so I can't predict what's going to happen next. So we say that figure 4 has no relationship. And that's why part A would be answered figure 3. So when I'm answering this and it says, which one shows a nonlinear relationship? Yes, figure 4 isn't a straight line, but it doesn't have any relationship either. Whereas figure 3 does have that relationship, but it has that curve to it. Okay, we can predict values based on it. Part B says, which data set appears to show a positive linear relationship? So positive means it's going up, right? It's getting more positive. Left to right, figure 1 is going up, and it's in a straight line. So part B would be figure 1. Part C says, which data set shows a negative linear relationship? So from left to right, it should be going down, and that would be figure 2, because in figure 2, it is going downwards from left to right. And part D, which data set shows no relationship? And like we said before, that's figure 4, because those points are just kind of random on there. There's no relationship between our two values. We can't figure out what's going on. Okay, so I hope that was helpful on question 3. Let's look at question 9 now. Now question 9 will kind of help you out with like 6, 7, and 8, because those are kind of similar in style to those. So question 9, a group of 175 college students who took math last term were interviewed. They were asked whether they passed their math courses and whether they live on campus. So we're comparing all of these different factors. Their responses are summarized in the following table. Part A says, what % of students passed math? So out of all of the students, which is 175, how many passed math? Well, we know that 49 lived on campus passed math, and 28 who lived off campus passed math. So if we add those 2 together, that will give us our total that passed math, which is 77. So 77 students out of 175 passed math. So if I do 77 divided by 175, that'll give me 0.44. Now remember, to make it a percent, we have to times it by 100. So that gives me 44%. So that would be part A, 44%. Part B says, what % of students live on campus. So I have to look, okay, well, 49 that passed math live on campus, and 21 that failed math live on campus. So if I add those two together, 49 plus 21, I get 70 total students live on campus out of a total of 175 students. So 70 divided by 175 gives me 0.4, and then once again we times it by 100 to get to the percent, in which case I get 40%. So part B, 40% of students live on campus. Part C, I have to be careful because it says what percent of students who live on campus. So now that's the only number that I care about, is how many live on campus. And we just said that 70 students live on campus total. So out of 70 students, how many pass math? Well, if we look, 49 out of those 70 pass math. So if I do 49 divided by 70, I get 0.7, times it by 100 to get my percent, which is 70%. Okay, so 70% of students who live on campus passed math. Now, part D, we have to kind of interpret. Is there evidence that students who live on campus tend to pass math more often than average? So is it no, because the percent found in part C is about the same as part A? Well, that's not true because those percents aren't the same. So if we look, 70% is a lot bigger than 44%. So we could say yes, it seems like there is some evidence because part C is much greater than found in part A. So I would say it is C here, this question. Okay, because the percent found in part C, because this one talks about math, and 44% talks about math. This 40% has nothing to do with math, so that doesn't go into our consideration when we're talking about how many students are passing math. Okay, so I would say yes, because the percent found in part C is much greater than the percent found in part A. Okay, so hopefully that kind of helps you out with that question. And last one, we have question 10. In question 10, we're still dealing with this two-way table, but now we are having to figure out, okay, what is the relative frequency happening? So a survey of a sample of 290 people was conducted. The survey's respondents are classified according to their political affiliation and their opinion on a bill. So the results are given in the contingency table below. Okay, so we have our contingency table. Among the Republican correspondents, so we're looking at these ones here, Republican respondents. What is the relative frequency of those who happen to oppose the bill? So 16 oppose the bill out of our total Republican respondents. So I have to add all of those numbers together. So 29 plus 16 plus 44. In which case I get 89 total Republicans here. So 16 out of 89, so if I do 16 divided by 89, I get a really long decimal, but it says to round my answer to 2 decimal places. So that is going to be 0.18. So if I were to answer that, that would be my answer, 0.18. Okay? So that's kind of how you would answer question 10. And if I wanted to make that a percent, I would times it by 100. But in this case, it doesn't ask for it. It just wants that decimal. Okay? I hope this was helpful. And if you have any other questions on any of the ones that I didn't do on the video, please make sure you email me, and I'll be happy to answer and get back to you as soon as possible. Okay? Hope you're staying safe, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.